Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And so today I'd like to continue on with talking about some of my favorites from the Criterion collection during this year of 2021. And now I'd like to focus on a category which I have called favorite packaging. Now, favorite packaging is, in my mind, it can be distinguished or it can be differentiated from another category which I'll speak about, which is best cover art. Now, cover art is, to me, the art that is on the front cover of the particular release, essentially the first thing that one sees when one sees the particular box or particular case or something. That's the cover art. But I'm not speaking here about the cover art per se. I'm talking about packaging, the actual physical media packaging, maybe something to do with the way that the box is designed, or maybe some aspect of the physical package itself. Maybe it has to do with the printing or the paper that's used or something of that sort. So I've taken the liberty of setting aside this particular category for such discussion. So best packaging, or I should say favorite packaging, excuse me. So my favorite packaging from the Criterion collection from this year 2021's physical media releases. So this has maybe could have many different meanings or applications, but in my mind these are some of my favorites, and I've arranged them in my top 5 favorite packaging from Criterion. And again, my list might differ from yours, and if that's the case, that's totally okay. I would love to hear your own choices below in the comment section in case you are interested. But in the meantime, let me go through what I feel are my favorites of the packaging from Criterion. So, number 5, without further ado, let's go with number 5. And it's the film that was designated by Criterion, or that is designated by Criterion, at spine number 1062. And it is this work, which is Rolling Thunder Review, a Bob Dylan story by Martin Scorsese. So this came somewhat early in the year, and it was a very exciting, engaging release for a number of reasons. Now, I must draw your attention, if I may, to this wonderful digipack design, and it has a great cover art, that's for sure. But when we're talking about design, you take it out and you see the inside of the outer compartment includes some interesting design work. I don't know if you can check it. Can you see that? There you go. So there's a little bit of surprise when, sorry, my camera isn't capturing it appropriately, but there is some stuff that can be found in the interior part of the outer shell. And then when you take out the inner compartment, you have this wonderful display, a further a representation of this artistic design carried over into the inner compartment. And then you open it up, and then you see, what do you see here? You see, of course, the disc housing mechanism, which is right here. And I must say, too, that this booklet that is also included, I think, is really wonderful. The contents are great, but there's also this look and aesthetic and feel of the two. It has a lovely, it's thick, and it's very, it feels very, almost, how should I put it? It has presence, let me put it that way. It has strong presence, and the design of it has that great link to this sense of a historical type of journey, which is part of the thematic, one of the thematic grace notes that is part of this overall brilliant work from Scorsese and company. So this is my number 5 choice as far as favorite packaging from Criterion. This is one of the best. This is the packaging for Rolling Thunder Review, a Bob Dylan story by Martin Scorsese. Number 4, my favorite packaging from Criterion has to be this set, which is right here. Once Upon a Time in China, the complete films. Now, this is also what can be called a digipack release because it has this not plastic casing, but it has this uh, maybe cardboard type of, or thick cardboard type of outer casing and interior compartment handling. And so we have the outer shell, which is like so, and you have little bits of inside. You can see, again, I apologize for the poor quality of my camera work here. I am not in any way a skilled director of photography by any stretch, but here we have some indication of some kind of interesting interesting use of the color motif that can be found in this wonderful orange, yellow, and black combination in the front cover. But here we have too the wonderful housing mechanism, and I love personally, I just love the way that you can have these fold out type of inner compartments. Sometimes you have multi-film collector sets that have each of the films in its own individual sleeve, which is perfectly fine, but I just love the integrated nature of this as well. And you have the discs that I love this housing mechanism. I'm not a fan of the envelope type. I like the plastic casing in here, although one has to be careful because if they break, it's very difficult or impossible, as I understand it, to replace the broken component itself. But with that little caveat, I think the design or the packaging is superb. I love the continuation of the artwork that we saw in the outer box, continued on into the inner compartment, of course, and we have the wonderful detail of the illustration as well. And as I said, I just love this type of this one unit type of housing mechanism that's used, because there's also an interesting way a further, say, a suggestion of how this series could be viewed as one continuous cycle. And it's one continuous cycle, and physical media discs are housed in one continuous interior unit of the digipack, so to speak. And so maybe I'm overthinking that, but the point is that I love the integrated nature of this. I love the ease of use, and I love the color scheme, and I love the overall design packaging. I love this particular release. I love its ease of use, and I love its look and aesthetic and overall effect. So this is my number 4 choice for favorite packaging. Once Upon a Time in China, the complete films. Now my number 3 favorite packaging from Criterion, and it has to go with this title, which is at spine number 1105, and it's for this work, which is Menace to Society. Now this is yet another digipack. I really love the digipack format because I think it can provide a lot of exciting detail and interaction. So I'm sorry, was I was so excited I wanted to do this because I love this interaction between the outer sleeve and the inner compartment, because as I say, I've pointed out in the Menace to Society discussion video. But look at that. That is really that is very, very clever. And it's very clever, and it's very deep, I would say, too, because you have the inner compartment with the 2 main characters, and it's a key sequence where they're essentially being confronted by a third character who is actually right here. And it's a very key moment of dialogue, and it's a very key, maybe personal and almost existential moment about life or death. And what what do you know when you have a moment that's captured in the inner compartment that is essentially a moment about life or death, or talking about life or death, or the philosophy, an existential moment about questioning about whether one wants to live or one wants to die. And what do you have when you take it out and it's revealed what is revealed behind? But you have this suggestion of something that is very much a reminder of the danger and indeed the potential for death that is part of the overall, I think, effect, and part of the feeling and mood that is being captured by the Hughes brothers in this incredible work. So this is so clever and so powerful and so apropos, and so well done for this particular packaging design. The cover art too is amazing, and perhaps we will talk about that in a separate discussion. But I should also point out that just with regard to the interior compartment, we have it opening up like here, and this is so great. This is so great. I just want to also say I love the touch of the different color scheme with the discs. You have the top disc, which is the Blu-ray disc, and then the bottom disc, which is the 4K UHD disc. At least that's how it was arranged when I received mine in the mail. And so we have the top disc, the Blu-ray disc, with the C in black and the background being in this dark maroon red. And then the 4K UHD disc has the C in the dark maroon red and the background being in the black. So very, very clever indeed. And then I should point out too that while I'm not necessarily a fan of the fold-out design of the booklets or the leaflets, I must say that I'm very, very, very impressed with this. I must say in particular, I am impressed with the way in which you can get this particular image, which is so stunning and so unforgettable. And it also is a reminder of the past Menace to Society Criterion Collection Laserdisc, which we also saw some years back. But in any event, there's so much going on here. The package design is incredible. This is Menace to Society. Now, my number 2 favorite packaging design, and it has to be this one, which is, Now, my number 2 favorite packaging design from Criterion's physical media releases from 2021, and it is for this work, which is designated spy number 1084, and it's this Mirror. Yet another digipack design, and it is so great. It is in fact so packed that oftentimes, or many times, or every time in fact, it is difficult for me to take out the interior compartment because the booklet is so thick. It's wonderful. So I think had this been a little bit of an easier fit, I think that would have made this maybe my number 1 choice. But that's a very, very minor thing. I think that's actually a good thing too, that it's so packed. It's sometimes difficult to take it out. It's not impossible, and it doesn't cause any type of damage as far as I can tell anyway. But in any event, that's an interesting detail which I really, in the long run, I really appreciate. But we have the outer compartment, which is great, by the way, and the cover art is, as I say, it's a slightly separate topic, but let me just touch upon that here, which is the cover art is very clever, and you have the sense of reflection, and also things that might be reflected, but also what is the reflection that is the right side up, or what is the reflection that is the inverse, or something of that sort. So that is also very much a visual cue, and also a cue into the internal workings, or the potential internal workings of a reading of this particular work. Brilliant stuff. So now, going to the interior compartment, which is right here. Now, the reason why it's so thick is because of the booklet, and this is I mentioned it in a separate video about the essays, and this is the stuff this is what makes Criterion. This is a great example of this, and I love the robustness of this. I love it's like a nice photo album book, but it's also filled with so many great writings, which I've touched upon in a separate video. And of course, it's housed, or it can be contained within this interior compartment, which you open it up, and it has, you open it up, and it has this this image here with the 2 discs. And I love this housing mechanism. Again, I'm not a fan of the envelope type, but I love this. It has a certain simplicity and also has deep meaning. Because of these images here, and that they can be images that are found. Again, the discs can be arranged here. Now I've arranged them. I always forget which goes first, disc 1 on the bottom or disc 2 on the top, because I watch them a lot, and I tend to forget. But in any event, we have interesting uses of certain images that can be found on the discs themselves. This being disc 1, and here we have disc 2. So we have different images. And I just want to point out too the booklet image that's used here. Very, very powerful indeed. So my number 2 favorite packaging from Criterion is this, which is for Mirror. My number 1 favorite packaging from Criterion from 2021, the physical media releases. This is another digipack, and I must say that when I saw this, when I was engaging with this, I was having so much fun. I was laughing, and it was clever, clever, clever stuff all the way through. And I'm speaking about that title, which is designated spine number 1101. And it is this. My favorite packaging of the year goes to the release for Uncut Gems. This is unbelievable. This is really unbelievable. Now, I love this type of, look at that. You just swivel or just turn it a little bit, and just the light captures that rainbow effect, which is embedded into the cover art there. And you can also see it's also embedded into parts of the back as well, this part here, and some of the font as well as part of the side too. Wow, that's great. And yes, I didn't even notice it until just now. You can also see it as part of the spine number 2. You can see that it turns into that slight rainbow effect. So next you have the inside here, which is, and then so next we have the interior compartment, and you take it out, and my goodness, you are confronted with this wonderful image, the eyeball. And this is actually an interesting maybe reference to a trinket or an ornament or a prop, essentially, that can be a part of, or that can be seen somewhat early on in the film. Very brilliant indeed, and it's quite eye-catching. So well done for using this particular design motif. You have the design of the main character portrayed by Adam Sandler at the front, which I really like, by the way. I like this particular cover art design. But then you open it up and you see, wow, it almost shocks you. It's great. Incidentally, I should point out too that you can see too that there's some interesting activity that can be found in the inside of the outer compartment as well. So, but now returning our attention to the inner compartment, we have, when you open it up, we have this. Now, I'll get to the booklet momentarily, but let me just point out too the Blu-ray and then the 4K discs that are housed in this wonderful stacked mechanism, which I really appreciate, although I do acknowledge that one has to be careful. If it breaks or it cracks or it otherwise breaks down, I understand replacements are not possible. If they are possible, please let me know, but my understanding is that they aren't possible in terms of parts replacements. But in any event, that's okay with me, because we are getting a wonderful housing mechanism as far as the physical media is concerned. Now, one of the great highlights is this booklet. This booklet is, this is, when I was thinking about what categories I should have for my favorites, I should point out that packaging. I don't know if I've talked so much about packaging. Maybe I have, and my memories are not what they once were, perhaps. But I thought, should I do packaging this year or not? I wasn't quite sure, actually. But when I got the Uncut Gems release, and when I was examining it, when I saw this for the first time, I thought, I have to talk about this. I have to, and it's not cover art. It's not, I can't talk about it in the context of cover art, but I thought I have to have a packaging, best favorite packaging category, so I can talk about this booklet. This is this is great. This is one of the best booklets that I have ever encountered with any Criterion release. and it's clever. It has that motif of the jeweler's catalog, and it sustains the illusion of the story itself, and it also has the great story. And the materials are wonderful. It has this laminated feel, which it's I wish all the booklets could be like this, with this laminated feel to it. I'm just not to mention the fact that you're getting so much information that's packed into the particular writings. So, in any case, this is for me, yes, my favorite in terms of physical media packaging from Criterion. So, my number one favorite packaging from Criterion is their release for Uncut Gems. Okay, my friends, so that's it for now as far as favorite packaging. So do you have any favorite packaging or any types of other maybe physical media packaging elements that stood out for you? If so, please let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what it is you have to say. But I will see you at some other videos talking about some more favorites. But until then, my friends, please be happy and healthy and well. And please keep on watching a lot of great, great movies. So until we see each other at the next video, thank you and cheers.